This week's episode of the STS Guys is brought to you by Frisky Britches. Ladies, let's face it. I know you're all guilty of your panty drawer filling up with worn out, old, and brace yourselves, stained underwear. But that's where Frisky Britches comes in. Each month delivery is a surprise, but always includes 2 fun and sexy panties for only $14. So if you're looking for a good set of panties, go on over to shopfriskybritches.com and enter the coupon code FBSTS to save yourself 15%. Frisky Britches, get underwear the right way.
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 8 of the STS Guys. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Scott.
Hey, it's Larry.
All right. We are also missing another person this week. We're missing Larry last week. Larry has been kind enough to join us back again.
We found him.
We found him.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the concern. Now we lost Leo. Where's Leo?
Leo is actually currently lost in a corn maze.
Yes, he's having an adventure.
Well, and here's the thing. That's not a lie either. He's actually legitimately probably lost in a corn maze right now.
Yeah, it's for anybody listening that's not from Arizona. Where he's at is a giant corn maze that he is exploring right now. I think he might have a video of it up for us here on our YouTube channel, right?
So he's actually gathering some footage of actually him going through this corn maze. And it's not like a typical corn maze. Like I said, it's one of those ones where they have a theme every year. I don't think they had announced the theme earlier this week, so I'm not even sure what the theme is right now. Yeah. But it's actually, they do an aerial shot of, it's designed around something. Like in the past, it's been Larry Fitzgerald, and it's been some other people. It's been Pat Tillman before. It's, like I said, they typically do it after people or events or things. So I'm anxious to see kind of what they have planned for this year.
And in terms of size, it is a couple acres.
Yeah,
like it's not a small lot that they've grown corn in. Like they actually take a big plot of corn that they actually farm and turn it into the maze.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where you're getting 5 minutes and you're done.
Yeah,
That's really cool. I've never been. I really don't know anything about it, so I'm looking forward to that video, Leo.
Well, from your perspective here, it is on the other side of the world.
It is, right? It's at least an hour and a half probably from my house.
Yeah, it is. It's halfway to California, or driving to California. Yeah. So, as I said, it's been about a week since we've all been together. So what's been going on, guys?
Well, during the first part of this week, I was the one to go on the adventure, actually, and I took the family to Disneyland to go do the special trick-or-treating that they do. Ooh. Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, throughout the last half of September and October, Disney has special nights where you can go and actually do trick-or-treating. So you can dress up in costume, go to the park, and they have candy stations set up where you can actually trick-or-treat. They kick everybody out of the park that's not one of the trick-or-treaters at 6. So you can go on any of the rides. You just have to have a little wristband that shows that you're supposed to be there.
How do you get the wristband? You just have to have a costume, like a kid?
No, when you buy, it's a special ticket.
It's a separate ticket?
Yeah, so it's a special ticket that you buy. When you do it, they put the wristband on you. You get in 3 hours before it starts. So we got in about 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And then at 6, they kick everyone out and set up all these big candy stations. And it is Disney, and they do not skimp on candy. They were giving handfuls at each station.
I was going to say, I'm like, is it either handfuls or full-size bars? I'm
like, come on. It's handfuls.
You got the cash to spend, Disney. Come on.
Yeah, I dropped over $100 a person to do this, and it is definitely handfuls of candy. They had healthy snacks for anyone who cares about that if you do go. But fuck that noise. I'm going with a handful of candy. And you can go through as many times as you want. Grabbing.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care.
That's cool.
You can leave the little trick-or-treat line and go right back to the beginning and go through again.
So is it super busy? Is it something that's super popular where hey, I need to buy a ticket super in advance?
You need to buy your tickets in advance because they do limit how many people can go. So it's maybe a third of what they actually let into a park throughout the day. So it's not as busy as an actual park day.
That's way low.
Way low.
You guys went on a weekday though.
We did go on a Tuesday. So they do weeknights, and then I think Fridays are the only kind of weekend night that they do the trick-or-treating. But all the rides are set up, and I don't think we waited more than 10 or 15 minutes for any ride once it got past 6 o'clock. We literally walked onto Space Mountain at 7 o'clock. Like just walk up.
So it's
get
almost
on the
like
park.
buying like a fast pass for like every ride.
Yeah,
Kind of,
it
yeah.
really is. Like there was not one ride that we like waited an ungodly amount of time. The only one that we waited was because was the Haunted Mansion, but I'm pretty sure that's because somebody tripped on that moving walkway and they had to shut the thing down. So we had to wait for them to
Yeah.
figure that out
Yeah.
and then us go. So for anyone wanting to go, it's really cool. Adults can dress up. So I had my Captain America shirt on. It's one of the only times an adult can actually dress up and go to Disney. Little kids are all dressed up running around, and there's like 9 or 10 stations or like what they call treat trails where you go trick or treat, and each one of those has between like 6 and 10 little stops where you say trick or treat and they give you that candy.
That's awesome. I knew they did like the spooktacular thing or whatever, but I didn't know all the specifics. I just thought it was Halloween decorations.
It's decorations, and they do a whole lot. So they turn their parade into a villains parade instead
Oh, wow.
of doing
Yeah.
like the normal one.
Oh, that's cool.
And then like where the pirate ship is in the little lake.
Yeah, the lagoon area.
The lagoon area. So instead of having just the guys regularly that like come through and sing in there, they're actually dressed up like skeletons, and they put a fog machine out on the water, so the water's all fog, and so they come in and they sing like Halloween songs instead. So they actually do a whole special thing for the Halloween night. Like the cost of it is about the cost of a regular ticket to Disneyland. I think it's like $5 to $10 more if you go earlier in the month, but it is well worth it to go if you want to go have a really good time.
That sounds really fun. Like I said, I don't have any kids, but it sounds like something that honestly I would even enjoy.
Yeah, you don't have to. Like a couple times my daughter was like, I'm like tired of trick or treating, so I just grabbed her bag and went through the line, and they give you candy. Like they don't give a
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
you
we're getting our money's worth out of this free candy.
You're like, I want some candy.
I
Give me
got
some
my damn
candy.
wristband. Give me some fucking candy, and they're just without missing a beat, just handful. There you go.
Cool.
That's awesome. You've been looking forward to that trip a while, right?
Yeah. I've had family that goes every year and tells us how cool it is, and we were fortunate enough this time to beat the hype and actually get tickets.
So this is your
This is my first time.
Your
doing that.
inaugural
In
time.
my inaugural, and thank you for saying it correctly
You're
this
welcome.
time. Yeah,
I was hoping you'd notice.
Jeremy's trying. So yeah, it was really, really cool. It was a recommendation for me is for anybody that's interested or that loves Disney or has kids that really enjoy that. Go do the trick or treating there. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. It was a pretty busy week for us too. So we had me and Larry actually went out. We had a little adventure on Thursday.
Yeah. We went to Barnes & Noble.
Hooray!
Not quite Disneyland, but it was still fun.
It was just as fun.
Probably
Really
not.
not. No.
Well, just to kind of compare it, just like Disneyland, there were lines.
Yeah.
I saw the videos.
Hey, the video doesn't even do it justice to being there in person.
It seemed pretty insane.
So what we did was, like I said, New York Comic Con kicked off on Thursday, and so me and Larry actually took the day off to actually go out and hunt for some of the exclusives out there. We actually wanted to kind of take everyone out there on the journey with us. We actually did a lot of filming as well to kind of show you what we got and some of the craziness that actually happened. So Larry, that Barnes & Noble experience was kind of crazy.
So this is my first time going out for shared exclusives. They do this every con, right? Every major con. So San Diego, even Emerald City for Seattle last time, and New York Comic Con. So they've had these releases a few times now. I've either not been interested or I've actually been in San Diego, so I couldn't go participate. I was surprised to see the line that was forming outside of Barnes & Noble. We got there early, so we were first in line, but over that hour that we were sitting outside, I think about 25 people showed up after us.
Yeah.
I was gonna say those lines seemed pretty long.
Yeah.
When you guys were from the video that I saw.
Yeah, it was pretty significant. So like I said, we were the first ones there. It grew, like I said, by 1 or 2 people at a time. And then towards like the very end there, like I said, there was like 10 people that came up kind of at once.
So it's those last minute people hoping to get in there.
Yeah.
Kind of 5-10 minutes before the store actually opens.
Yeah, but
Well,
it didn't work.
No, it didn't
If
work.
you got there that late, you weren't getting too much.
You weren't getting in there at all. So it was kind of a cluster. So kind of in line and kind of so me and Larry were kind of reading online about people's experiences with Barnes & Noble because as everyone knows, if you try to order an exclusive during that point in time.
Oh, are you talking about the wonderful money debacle that they did?
Yeah, it's either their site crashes or this lovely time. They had people placing orders. They got charged no, 1, 2, 5, 7, 18, 20 times for their order when their order was processing. So their one item that they wanted to pick up for $15 ended up costing them like $560.
Right. That's what I want. When I'm going out to shop is charge me a bunch for this. Empty my bank account for the $15 item.
Yeah, empty my bank account for something I may or may not get, because at least last I heard, like the question was out on which orders were actually going to be accepted and go through.
Well, and the saddest thing too is I was reading online that they're expected to refund all those within 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah. So you have your cash tied up for 3 to 5 business days. So and it's not like a small portion of cash either. Like, so if you're getting charged 20 times for a $15 item, like I said, you got like $500 that's outstanding that you can't spend.
I saw one guy, they screenshotted their bank statement. He got charged, I think, 6 times. Each was $150.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it could be a pretty big impact.
Upwards of $1,000 just held up for no reason, and you may not even get the item.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what's funny. So
Right.
that actually happened to a couple people that we were actually in line because we started conversating with them in line. But basically, what everyone was after, they were after
Conversating.
a couple different things. One thing specifically, and this was the Black Chrome Batman. This is the second Chrome Batman that they had. They did one for San Diego that was like a blue Chrome Batman, and everyone went ape shit for it. Like,
Isn't that the one that you were going for?
Oh, I wanted it. I totally wanted it. I said the San Diego one. I couldn't pay the San Diego prices because it was a Toy Tokyo exclusive. I couldn't spend the money on it.
Yeah, you're not. That's
I can't.
That's too much.
I couldn't justify it. So like, if I can get one of these Black Chrome Batmans at a retail price, I'm like, I can do that. So I wanted to make sure that we were there early. So we got there. I said, me and Larry basically were number 1 and number 2 in line. So we were pretty much guaranteed to get these Chrome Batman. But the funny thing is, it almost didn't happen.
Well, they let us in the store.
Yeah.
And the lady just opens up the door and is like, hey, cool. Hey, guys, we're open now. Limit of 2 pops per person. Walks away. So then we walk in the store and don't exactly know where to go. Barnes & Noble's a pretty big store.
No direction whatsoever where to go.
No, like, hey, what you're looking for is here.
Yeah.
Nothing like
they
no.
knew why we were here. She could have pointed us in the right direction. Somebody quietly said something about customer service. So we saw the big table that apparently is for customer service that you kind of walk past and ignore 99% of the time.
That's in the middle of the store.
Yeah, right in the middle of the
that
store.
Big, like usually
information
circular
desk kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
where the librarian would be.
Yeah,
That's
like
that's
yeah, I was gonna
exactly
say.
what it is. Yeah. So right behind that was a really small table that had some pops on it.
Yeah, so the table that we're sitting at now, so we're sitting at a table that's roughly like 7 feet by 3 feet.
Yeah.
It was probably a 4 foot by 3 foot table.
Oh, so like a little like picnic table, basically.
Yeah, there was,
basically.
like I said, that was all that they had. And literally, so I went, made sure I got my Chrome Batman. Larry ended up getting something pretty cool.
So they had one glow-in-the-dark Balrog from Lord of the Rings, 6-inch pop. So I decided to grab that since it was the only one on the table, and then I grabbed my Batman. So no problem. It was pretty easy. Again, being in the front of the line, like we still got to the table first. We
That
still grabbed
helped.
Everything we wanted.
Did you clear out their Chrome Batman stash, or did they have multiple?
No, they literally had 12 on the table.
Yeah.
Because I was confused because in the past they said they've only limited basically you can get 2 pops, 1 per style.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna grab one possibly as a giveaway for the channel, but I ended up not getting the second one. So we each got our own individual Chrome Batman, but that was it. It was like someone dropped blood in the water and sharks were feeding everywhere. It was insane.
Yeah, by the time we grabbed our pops and turned around, there was
Like,
a swarm at the table, and
There's a
everybody's
swarm of the table. People
grabbing
are
what they
basically
can.
dropping pops every place because they're all reaching in over each other's shoulders,
Trying to grab them.
all.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
nuts.
20 people swarming this little 4-foot table. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Were there any fist fights?
There weren't necessarily any fistfights, but there were a lot of like disappointed people.
And were there some shoving?
Well, just because like I said, they don't necessarily have a right to be disappointed. Just because me and Larry got there an hour and a half before they opened. I'm not being disappointed. I want to make sure I'm getting what I get. But guess what? I put in the time to get what I wanted to get.
Right.
Yeah.
That's plain and simple. That's it. Yeah. There's some people that showed up basically 5 minutes before they were open, and then they didn't end up getting because they only had like 12 of the Chrome Batman. That they didn't end up getting what they wanted to. And so then they walk away all huffy and puffy. "Blah, I'm going to go to Hot Topic now to see if they have that. And blah, 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 blah."
Good luck.
So
Yeah, good luck.
so we ended up getting that. After that, threw the stuff in the car. Okay, hey, let's make a mad dash over to Hot Topic, because out of everything from New York Comic Con, I only wanted two things. One of the things I had gotten, which was like that Chrome Batman. The other thing I wanted was the 6-inch Dragon Sword.
I was gonna say, wasn't it the Power Rangers thing?
Yeah, I love Power Rangers. Like I said, I'm not afraid to admit it. It's something that said that was part of my childhood. Like I said, the original, and like I said, Green Ranger and everything else like that. I'm like, it was pretty cool. So I wanted that Dragon Sword so bad. I honestly didn't know if we were gonna get it.
No, I didn't either. Right, Hot Topic opened the same exact time as Barnes and Noble. By the time we checked out at Barnes and Noble,
Unannounced too.
yeah. By the time they
So
opened
they
up,
just opened.
They opened early.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
just
they
because.
usually do, but I don't like. It's you probably could have called and asked,
Yeah.
but it wasn't publicly acknowledged anywhere. So by the time we checked out, right, there's a little line at Barnes and Noble, a couple little old ladies there, not checking people out very quick. So like Jeremy said, we hopped in the car, kind of good hopes. We walked in, and there was, 2 Dragon Zords still on the
Yeah,
shelf?
2 Dragon Doors on the shelves.
Somebody was grabbing one.
Someone's grabbing one. I grabbed the other one. My box wasn't actually in the best of shape. I'm like, and this is the one I'm gonna get.
You got to go for it.
I
if
gotta
you
go.
see it.
I gotta go for it.
It's like a chase. Like if you see it,
Oh yeah,
you just have to get it.
You see, you grab it.
Right.
So walk up to the counter, and then I'm like, okay, didn't have to rush. They had like 20 of them behind the counter.
There just wasn't. They're big boxes, right?
They're
There
big
wasn't-
boxes.
there wasn't room.
They just
Hot
had
Topic always does that though, where they have that behind the counter. They have a secret stash of
Yeah.
all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I was able to get one that was actually in better condition. Like I said, lady there was super cool. Let me swap it out. Like, hey, can I have one of the ones that's a little bit better condition? She's like, yeah, no problem whatsoever.
So you grabbed the one that you really wanted, but I think you went home with a bag full of pops besides that.
Yes. So, well, not from Hot Topic. So from Hot Topic, we end up getting the Dragon Zord. That's it, obviously. They had the Scrooge McDuck there. So my wife loves pops that are like the animals.
Oh, what is Scrooge McDuck from?
So DuckTales.
Woo.
So, woo, DuckTales. So the one, the
Who's
pop,
the richest guy you know? Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, the design of it was pretty cool. It was basically when back in the cartoon, like when he put on his little swimsuit and dove in the money. What would kill you in reality if you jumped into
Basically jumping into a brick wall.
yeah. So it was basically him popping out of basically this pile of money.
Now, is it from the original?
And it's from the
DuckTales,
original
or the new
DuckTales.
one that just came out.
The original DuckTales.
Which, by the way, the new one is kind of awesome.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen it.
No, me neither.
It's got a lot more like adult humor in it than you would expect. It's kind of good.
It's got to draw on us, all of us that grew up on.
Oh yeah, no,
on
100%.
DuckTales.
Yeah, because kids aren't going to go watch it unless their
Yeah.
parents force them to.
Yeah.
So
Here, watch this. This is awesome.
Which I did for my daughter.
you?
Yeah.
So ended up getting that. Ended up getting Hot Topic has these things, these Diamond Series exclusives. They're pretty cool. This is probably by far, like I said, one of the best done ones that I've seen. It's basically this is sparkly Dumbo. So Lindsay really so my wife really wanted that. So we ended up getting that for her, and then
it looks really cool.
Oh yeah,
It's a really nice.
I
pop.
I saw it on the video there. It's actually pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And then just because kind of to celebrate us getting a new dog in our household, she wanted basically the flock lockjaw pop from Hot Topic as well. So we ended up getting that one from Hot Topic. After Hot Topic,
Let's go to another store.
let's
shall
go to
we?
another store.
Well, you guys, I mean, you have the day, right? Might as well.
Yeah. Well, and this store kept to their normal hours. They kept to their normal opening time. It was hot as hell too.
So we after Hot Topic, we bounced over to Toys R Us. Toys R Us opened up at 10, so I think we had about 30 minutes to wait outside. But again, we live in Phoenix. It's October. It was still like 100 degrees outside.
It was miserable. Well, that, and then I'm like, it was nicer in the morning, so I was wearing a hockey jersey.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Oh, you regretted that, didn't you?
I regretted that instantly.
Absolutely.
Especially when someone in line recommends, hey, you got to be hot in that, right?
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Captain, obviously. I know, yes,
Thanks,
I am
jackass.
hot.
Yes, I'm dying.
Yes, I am hot. So that that store, there was no semblance whatsoever. They didn't have shit.
Still
there.
about 20 people in line there at least, right?
20 people in line. So they still had a line out front. It was a mad dash. No one, like I said, no line control whatsoever. Everyone just kind of like started
So
reaching.
you could be
grabbing over each
like
other.
6 in line and still bum rush and still get like in front of everybody if you
Yeah.
wanted.
Easy.
Yeah, and literally the only thing I said there's two things I wanted there. One of them I really wanted just to kind of complete the display I'm working on, and the other one I'm like, hey, it would have been nice to have, but I didn't have to have it. So they had a first appearance Superman there. They didn't have that one at all. Like, not that there wasn't enough. They literally did not have it whatsoever.
No one had it.
No, they struck out, or they didn't end up getting any of the Beastman from
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe either. For some reason,
There are 2 exclusives
that
they
were
didn't have.
Yep, supposed to have. They just didn't get
Yeah.
any stock. of
And
it.
this may be why they're going bankrupt.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. That, and then like I said, everyone was going freaking nuts for this Boba Fett, the pop that they had, this Pop Deluxe, that was $40. $40 for
And so, just enlighten me here with this one because I haven't seen the Boba Fett yet. What was special about him that would justify $40?
So basically, he was the little Boba Fett figure riding in Slave One,
Yeah.
but he wasn't riding in Slave One the correct way.
So you know how you have the Deadpool with the
Yeah.
chimichanga truck?
Yeah, so it's one of the
Yeah.
ride-ons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so basically, a ride, but smaller.
So
That's more expensive than a ride.
So I'm guessing they have it set down and he's like sitting
Yeah, so he's
where the freaking windshield would actually
yeah.
be.
So basically, it's, instead of Slave One flying vertically like it does, it's basically flying sideways, and he's controlling it sideways, which is not how Slave One is
yeah,
supposed to
no, because that's only how it lands.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
This
Like,
is this is my my nerd rant because like I said, it doesn't fit
that-
what the way it was supposed to be, and
Yeah.
also I'm like $40. That's a little ridiculous, but still people are freaking nuts for him, and like I said,
Because
people
it's
are grabbing.
it's Boba Fett, the most
Yeah.
overrated Star Wars character of all time.
Yeah, people are going nuts. So we literally walked out of Toys R Us with nothing. Like we went in there, shot some video, and then ended up going to probably the most janky GameStop because it was in the same parking lot
Yeah.
that I've ever seen.
It like we live in a nice neighborhood. These stores were in a nice neighborhood, but that sign for GameStop on the outside wasn't very nice. Like, there was missing like an A, and not like just the light was burned out or like the
Like,
little
just
plastic
the
part.
actual
literally,
letter was
Yeah,
gone.
literally the A was gone.
It looked like someone beat the shit out of their sign.
Yeah, it was pretty ghetto.
They
but,
might have.
Possible.
Someone was real mad their pre-order didn't come in.
No. So
but Jeremy continued his hunt, and he found a few more things at GameStop he wanted.
yes, there's two things that I wanted at GameStop. One was the Old Man Logan. I said they had the Old Man Logan pop there, so I ended up picking that one up. And then the other one was, I didn't want to start this series, but just because it is Batman, it is in the first series, I wanted the 8-bit Batman pop. I ended up getting that one there too, while being told nicely, hey, please don't record in the store.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't work out well. So if you do check out our video, which is up on YouTube now, you can see a few seconds of inside GameStop and the guy quietly telling us, dude, you can't record here. And we're like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and so then we basically took our purchases, slumped out of there, and left.
Oh, womp womp.
Kind of an update later in the day though. So I was able to get the Superman offline, and then I was also able to get I got the Casual Hulk from Amazon.
Nice.
There you go. Now, we've been talking a lot about Funkos here with your guys' hunt, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's some news about Funko, right?
Yeah, on Friday afternoon, word got out that they filed the paperwork for their IPO.
Ooh.
It's pretty exciting.
No, that's super exciting.
So now here's the question I have for both of you guys. Since you're both avid collectors, I'm kind of the casual. If I find one I like, Bob Ross, I'll buy it. Are either of you going to try to purchase into that?
As someone who actually invests money, I probably won't. I might do it. Here's the thing: I might buy a single share just to say
you
that
did it.
that I have a share.
I have stock.
Like,
in
so for
Funko.
example, like I said, kind of the same thing with Marvel. I said I did the same thing with Marvel, but I have a single share of Marvel. Or actually, when Marvel was Marvel, like I said, Marvel's not Marvel anymore. So like I said, it's technically Disney stock now.
So you have stock in Disney.
Yeah, but it's literally one share.
Yeah. Which doesn't do much for me, right? Like, oh, I own a very, 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 very small portion of Funko.
I own $7 of Funko.
Yeah, like, right? I don't know. Maybe I haven't thought about it too much, but like Jeremy said, like, I've got my money invested elsewhere. I can probably break off a couple bucks to buy a few shares of Funko stock, but it's not like any collectors are going to go out and buy enough where they're going to get any actual impact on the company.
Oh, right. They're not giving out enough.
Well, that
for
and like I
that.
said, they don't give out stock certificates anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
since everything's digital, I'd honestly, I said, if they gave away stock certificates, I could answer you 100% for sure. Yes, I will buy a share. But since I don't do like actual like physical stock certificates anymore, I'm like, it'd be nice to have. But I'm like, if I don't have a share, it's not gonna be the skin off my back.
So a lot of people I saw online were asking like how much they thought the stock would go for on the IPO. Do you have any guesses?
That's a hard guess.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I see them starting off maybe between $20 and $25.
I was gonna say 25 to 30 is what I would guess.
Yeah. That's exactly where I was at. I was going to say probably about the cost of 2 pops.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to put aside your $24 or whatever and save up to buy a couple shares of Funko stock rather than buying a couple pops, good for you. Like it'll be cool. It'll be a nice thing to say. Oh yeah, well you collect pops. Well, I own Funko stock.
Right.
It's just a one-up thing.
Yeah.
And here's the other question I have is IPOs don't always work for people. So
No.
what are your guys' thoughts on the idea of Funko being an IPO?
I don't know. Like so what I've read online, I'm not super concerned, but it sounds like everybody else is. Mostly from like one of the things Funko's best at, and one of the things that I personally like them for is they're really cool to the collectors. They're really cool to their fans. I know people are worried about that. Like, does this change their party, like Funko Fun Days? Does this change like the giveaways they do and all that? Because now they have to be responsible to their stockholders. They got to make sure they're making money. So I don't think it'll change anything. Like as long as Brian Mariotti, the CEO, is still in charge, I don't see them being like, all right, it's going to be 100% by the book. No more fun.
Right,
you can't take the fun out of Funko.
So they're not going to do that complete 180 and change.
I don't think so. It might be gradual over like a couple years. That happens too, right? When the IPO hits and you become public, a lot of the times the changes aren't super gradual or super quick. It's kind of more gradual. So we could see things shift if maybe the revenue isn't where it needs to be in a year or two, and those stockholders start pushing for more. But it's not going to be an immediate change.
Yeah, I honestly kind of echo Larry's sentiments in regards to that. Like, that's the only thing that I'm nervous about. Like, so for example, like the most recent thing, I said, when they gave away the thank you Freddy for, like I said, 5,000 people. So that's basically 5,000 pops they released out that they ate the shipping on. It was like completely 100% free that they gave out to everyone. Do things like that still continue to happen, post IPO world? I don't know. I said, I hope that they do, just because I think that's what's built their success overall. Yeah. I don't think they would be even in the world of, hey, even thinking about IPO if the fans and basically the spending their hard-earned money towards, like I said, their products and their collectibles and things like that haven't gotten to a point to where the fans have made the success of Funko. So that's the only thing that I'm nervous about. Can they still continue to do those giveaways? Really engage that community of fans? Really placate to the fans while also placating towards their stockholders.
I mean, they do Facebook and Twitter giveaways all day, every day.
Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
Like I see multiple throughout the day.
They give away a lot of stuff.
Well, even I said this for New York this time. They're
Right.
doing the virtual raffle tickets.
Oh yeah, you just reminded me. I haven't checked to see if I won anything.
So, yeah.
They are kings of giveaways. That's what built their base. I can't imagine that's going to change. They have to know that's part of their success. Maybe one thing I just thought of, like kind of Fun Days specific. The tickets for Funko Fun Days, which if you don't know, it's a party they throw in San Diego every year in conjunction with San Diego Comic-Con. The last 2 years, it sold out in seconds. About 1,500 tickets, something like that. I know venue space is limited, and it's hard to find a bigger room to throw people in, but maybe they find a way to make fun days more profitable in order to keep it afloat. Maybe the ticket prices double and you get a little bit less stuff, but the demand is definitely there. Instead of doing
Or-
1,500 tickets, you could do 3,000 and they'll still sell out.
Or they do a set of fun days for like all like the different types of cons out there. Like so that if there's a major development or a major con, they said they do basically one geared towards that
just
specific
that.
market.
New York's been asking for one for as long as I can remember.
Well, I mean, with all the exclusives, like I said, with New York, San Diego, Emerald City, they don't just bring out one unique or one exclusive for it. There is enough where I think you get a decent amount of people to show up for that.
2 years ago, just New York Comic Con exclusives, I think were like 12, maybe. Like,
That's like an entire line.
it was barely double digits. But this year, it was over 60.
Yeah.
So it's exploded. The demand's still there. You got people waiting outside Barnes & Noble for 2 hours like we did. Like the demand is still there.
You could easily create an event to give out a lot of those or
absolutely.
to celebrate those.
Yep,
No,
absolutely.
and I think if they do that, if they expand that, because like I said, they have basically such a core group of fans that are able to attend those events. If you open that up to where more people can attend those type of events, I think where, like I said, one, they're making money at it because they're selling tickets to it, but then two, they're also helping their fans out and getting basically that fan experience where they may not have been able to have that before.
Yeah,
now they're able to have that.
I liked Funko. I was a pretty good Funko collector. And then in 2015, I went to Fun Days and it just took over. Like, it's like I fell in love with Funko that night. It was just such a good time. Awesome. They gave me so much free stuff, which was cool. I met some cool people. Like, that Fun Days experience is really what Funko's about. And if they can find a way to reach more collectors, it's just going to help them out in the long run.
So other than Funko and like the news with the IPO, some other big news happened this week on the Star Wars front.
Yeah, so video game dropped here, or at least a tester for it. I think Jeremy and I both were able to.
I know you
here.
probably got more time with it than I have. I played it for about 10 minutes.
I got about maybe an hour, 2 hours max playing into it. But yeah, the Star Wars Battlefront II beta for their multiplayer is out, going on this week currently. Unfortunately, by the time we probably post this up, it will stop because it ends tomorrow.
It's tomorrow night.
At like 4 p.m. UTC.
Yeah.
So like
Soon.
So
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, basically.
When does the real game drop?
November 17th.
17th.
Cool. So mid-November. So they're doing kind of the stress test and testing everything in the multiplayer, make sure everything's balanced correctly. And
Awesome.
you know,
How was it? I
performance.
played the last Battlefront a little bit.
So I'll say this: if you've played the last Battlefront, the feel of it's still there, but it is completely different.
Oh, cool.
Well, and I can say this is probably the best way I can describe it. When I originally played the original Battlefront, I loved it, and there was, like I said, a list of things. And I'm like, I wish this, and this would change. All of my list has been resolved with this new version.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, there's been expansions to it. There's been tweaks to it. I think they really found out and kind of really did a 180 from what they were trying to do with the original. Like, so for example, I said it's not part of the beta, but this new one actually has a story mode.
Yeah.
There's actually a story-driven mode in the game versus it just being a solely multiplayer game.
And from what it seems, is it's supposed to be, I won't say canon, but it's supposed to go in line with the story. So it's kind of it takes place right after the Emperor dies, and kind of after
So right after Return of the Jedi?
right after Return of the Jedi, and you're kind of following like a group. I don't know if you switch things. Obviously, there's not a whole lot to it, but you're actually playing as a stormtrooper, one of the black, like the Death Squad troopers.
Oh, okay.
So you actually get to play through that story.
And maybe when the full version releases, you'll get a little more to the story of what the context of
right
what's
now
going
on the beta, all it has is like a trailer that they've never played before. So it gives you some, like, it's basically an extended cutscene that you get to watch for it. But what they have on the beta is you have their galactic battle, which is the 20 on 20, so a 40-person fight. You have like a strike, which is more of like a kind of a capture the flag, where they have one person's trying to get an objective, the other team is trying to go, and that's like a 20, 10 on 10. And then you have the like 24 player star battles, like space battles that you have. So they have a couple different game modes that you can play. I've basically focused on the large scale Galactic Wars because it's just cool. I mean, you're playing against 20 different people. It has, each map, like the last Battlefront that came out, has multiple stages, right? So there's always like the kind of the first stage. This one's kind of cool because it actually what they have here is where the droid army is trying to take Naboo, and so you're the clones trying to stop them.
So they're trying to make the prequels relevant again.
Trying to make the prequels relevant again. But at least this one you have like your first stage is like this big outdoor map, right? So you have fighters flying around above you. You can get ground like equipment to run around, like is it the ATST? I think is the little
Chicken walker.
the little chicken walker that the clones had, where it's like open. So it's this guy basically on a Segway, and then once you get to a certain point of that, it moves to an indoor area where everything's more like
Confined
and locked in. So you're like go into the palace, and so you have to fight in there.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't think other games had that, right? You were just in one stage, one environment.
They had like multi-stage things, but it was never like where you changed environments.
Yeah.
It was always like, here's the first part. Okay, then we're just shifting the fight to this area of the map.
It's like
and then
they had the
fight.
map, but then they basically divided the map into 3 sections, and like, okay, hey, once basically, number one, last person in line passes this line, it basically locks off this, and then from that point on, you start respawning in
at
that
a different
stage.
zone. So yeah, so this one is more like actually has kind of it makes more sense in this instance where you're outside and then they're trying to take a throne room. So it's okay,
more
well,
of
they're gonna
a-
have to move inside at some point.
It's more of a fluid story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes it fun. One thing I really, really like about this Battlefront, which is different from this one, is your character selection is way better. So in the last one, I mean, Larry, you played the last Battlefront that came out.
Yeah, I did.
So you have your star cards, which kind of determine like what weapon, what kind of skills and everything that each of you guys had. And you only have like, I think it was like 2 or 3 different setups that you could create. This one they took from Battlefront or Battlefield, the class system. So now you have an assault class, heavy class, what is it, officer, which is kind of like your medic, and specialist, which is like the sniper. Each of those, and you can then go in and customize their weapon, how they act, what skills they have.
That's what I'm excited for. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to play it as much as I wanted to. That's actually probably something I'll probably hop on later on today and probably like play it a little bit more.
Yeah, you got to play before that beta shuts down.
Right. So it makes it really cool that you can kind of pick like which type of trooper do you want and how do you want them to play.
My only wish, and this is like I said, I wish this the last time too, that hey, if you're playing the beta and you're leveling up through the beta, I wish they said you kept that same level when you actually got the actual game as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it has that disclaimer right off the bat that anything that you buy or any things that you get are for the beta only, so they don't save any of your.
It's not really a pre-release. It's completely separate
This
from the
is
game.
completely separate. It is entirely a separate game. Like with the PlayStation Network, when you can go into your actual like library of games, it's in there as its own separate game. Like I have Star Wars Battlefront and the Battlefront beta. And now this one will have both of those.
Okay.
Those betas. So it's really, really fun though. I can say I'm not a big fan of Battlefield with the cooperative kind of those big massive maps.
Yeah.
Like the new Battlefield 1 that just came out. I played it for a little bit and I was like, I regret buying this because it's not that fun. This is a lot funner. The one improvement that I really actually like about it though is when you do things in the game. So if you actually play the objective, you get points. Those points they're called like battle points is what you use to actually buy. Like if you want to go into a TIE fighter, or if you want to become like one of the hero cards, it's not a random drop anymore.
That's
or
awesome.
it's not those little coins that just randomly show up on the map.
Where people basically realize where they spawn at,
And
they
just wait
basically
for 'em.
wait for them to spawn,
Right,
and
so-
then that's how they become a
As
hero.
you're playing, you're just sitting there waiting.
Right.
That's dumb.
So this time, you kill an enemy, you get 100 points, and then if you want to become like a Wookiee, it's you cash in 2,000 points and you can play that next round as like a Wookiee or one of those things. So it forces you to actually play the game, and the more if you actually focus on like playing the objective. So in this sense, you have like these little like cannons that you have to shoot a troop transport to drop its shields down. You get the most points playing the actual objective and actually trying to play the game and actually do that. If you just try to run around and kill people, you don't really get a lot of points that way. So it makes you actually play the game. And if you want to do anything cool, you get those points by doing that to cash them in. So I actually like that system a lot better. I am not good, so I don't get any of the really good stuff in it. I am like a middle of the road player, so I only get like the medium level stuff, but it's still cool.
See, I can't wait till the actual full version drops, so that way, like I said, I can just get on. I loved playing Battlefront. Like I said, we used to get on. I said play Battlefront all the time when that was out.
It's gonna be again.
So you're both going to buy it?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. I already have pre-ordered.
Yeah, both Jeremy and I have it pre-ordered. It will be a day one play for me.
Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
cool. Then I'm not going to. I'll come over to your house first and I'll try it out.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
That was my problem with the last Battlefront. I got it for Christmas last year after it'd been out forever, and everybody was leveled up and good at shooting people, and
then
I
you
just
died
got,
in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I just got slaughtered. So I'll check your guys out if it's fun. Maybe I'll check this one out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else can we check out, Jeremy?
So Netflix has
Good transition.
I try, even though I cut it off.
wow. I was like, very nice soft transition there. I said
That's not a segue at all.
the nice thing is, like I said, Netflix has been kind of dropping some new original content lately, but not necessarily shows, but they've actually been dropping movies.
I love October because I love horror movies, and Netflix has been dropping them within the last month like candy.
So let's talk about one specifically because I watched this movie off of your recommendation.
Let me put it this way: I gave that recommendation before we actually watched.
You did.
Yes, you did. Okay, I give you points for that.
I would have changed
Off the trailer, yes.
off the trailer and who like wrote and directed it.
Yes.
It should have been good, but it was. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was predictable.
And what movie was that?
It was Little Evil, and with Adam Scott. So if everybody who watches comedy movies in the last like 5 years or Parks and Rec know Adam Scott, right?
Or The Good Place.
The Good Place. Oh, is he? He's in that. Yeah,
He is, yeah.
So yeah, Adam Scott is usually decent stuff in it. I mean, and his acting is great in this. I will say that he did a
he was
good job.
fine.
Yeah.
It was kind of the story, the premise.
It was the story, yeah.
It originally started off being like, oh, this is cool because it's basically basic premise of the movie. He marries a lady who has a son who may or may not be the son of the devil. Like he may be the Antichrist. It's basically playing off of the old the Damien.
Yeah.
Kind of
Omen.
the
It's
Omen,
yeah.
the Omen movies. And it was kind of a comedic take on that. My problem was a lot of the jokes just kind of fell flat, or I knew they were coming. Like I was like, oh, that's not no surprise there. Like this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it was predictable, and it was just kind of stale.
Yeah, it was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, I like the movies that they drop that I say, what, I could see this in the theater. And this one, I could not see in the theater at all.
There's a reason why I think Netflix was the only one to pick that one up.
Yeah, like I said, I admire them for going after and trying to get some additional content. But that movie wasn't necessarily a fan of. There's another one coming up.
That does look amazing.
Yes.
And again,
From the trailer.
From the trailer. So we'll say this. Our recommendation on this one is only based off of the trailer that we've seen so far. But it does look heaps better.
Yeah. So October 13th, Netflix drops The Babysitter.
Which you think is like, oh, when I saw the tagline for it, I thought it was going to be completely something different versus what actually was shown in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's just going to be kind of a there's the person in the house type of movie. It's not that at all.
No, it's
If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch the trailer. It's really good. But kind of the premise is, if I remember right, it's these group of teenagers are over at some kid's house, and they're all kind of the babysitters, but they're the actual villains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the villains. They're like the
And they're like trying to do like a human sacrifice of the kid that's in the house.
it's
So
But they're all very handsome in Southern California, pretty. I believe-
Valley Girl types and
s-
jocks and
What's Stephen Amell's brother's name? Robbie.
Robbie,
Robbie
yeah.
Amell's in it. Takes his shirt off a lot.
yeah, but they actually make the comedies like, why is that guy's shirt off? Like, like
It looks
several times.
funny.
Like it looks like a good like horror comedies generally fall flat. I'm really hopeful for this one because it seems like it's supposed to be pretty good.
well,
like
that
it should
and
be
then
good, I should say.
from the trailer, it looks like there's some like decent like practical effects in it.
Yeah.
So it actually kind of reminds me of like Evil Dead type horror comedy where
Yeah.
you had like the mix of the actual practical effects in there.
Where it's super gory
Where it's
looking.
super gory,
you know,
but then
like-
it also has like the lightness and the humor. That's what that Bruce Campbell brings to specifically to Evil Dead. So
yeah, I would agree. Like it's definitely a one to throw on the watch list and give it a watch for Halloween, even if it's not that great and we're kind of overhyping it right now. It's gonna be at least a decent horror movie for Halloween time.
I can tell you that I'll probably watch it day one. I know Scott, you'll probably watch it.
I'll watch
So
it.
you'll probably watch it day one. So we'll probably have an update for you next week. And
Yeah.
let you know, like, hey, you know what, that recommendation that we made, probably not.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, before anybody else goes on there, stop. Stop, drop, and roll, basically, and don't watch this. We'll let you know.
So it's so bad it's going to put you on fire.
Yeah.
So like I said, if it's that bad, like I said, what should people watch?
People should watch nostalgic TV.
Nostalgic TV.
Yeah. Is anybody else as excited as I am that Hulu dropped all the old like '90s sitcoms?
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Hanging out with Mr. Cooper, Dinosaurs,
Dinosaurs.
which
Dinosaurs is pretty good. Jim Henson's
Jim
Dinosaurs.
Henson, just Dinosaurs, which actually has some pretty decent adult themes, like where he learns the mating dance.
Yeah. That I love.
And where he throws his baby across the room all the time. He's like, if you don't stop that, I'm going to throw you across the room.
I loved Dinosaurs. Like I
I've
said.
got fond memories. I don't really remember the show. I remember the baby saying "not the mama."
Not the mama.
That's about all I remember.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows you have to watch it again just because
Right.
as an adult you're like, oh yeah, that's so dirty.
It is. It ends up being dirty. Like, just some of the scenes, like where he tries to go in and ask for a raise, and his boss basically convinces him that he needs to quit.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, okay, like, I guess I quit.
His boss, the angry Triceratops.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, so
That you never saw his body. The only thing you ever saw was his head.
his head and his like upper body, like his shoulders. No, what they have on Hulu is phenomenal. They have all your old school, like I said, the '90s sitcom.
Including one of my favorites, Family Matters.
Family Matters. So it kind of sounds with Urkel.
With Urkel.
Yeah, with Urkel.
I like Urkel.
Laura Winslow.
So it sounds like Hulu is kind of trying to capitalize off of the popularity of Netflix's Fuller House.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to I'm trying to
Start a movie.
God, what word do I want?
Convince.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to
Campaign.
benefit off of their popularity of Fuller House too. Netflix or somebody needs to make a reboot of Family Matters.
I loved
You know,
Family Matters.
There's enough people in that they had, the kids and everything. And I think everyone's basically still acting and still around that you could make it.
You
kind
could.
of like Fuller House, where
except the grandma. The grandma is dead.
Rest in peace, Mother Winslow.
What's
Yeah,
Mother
Mother
Winslow? Waldo, the guy who played Waldo, I don't know the actor's name, but apparently it said you should only message him if he wants a job or you know him.
Apparently, he gets a lot of DMs on Instagram, and he has a disclaimer in his little bio.
oh, really?
Yeah, Waldo,
yeah.
the best
So-
friend from
Yeah.
Family Matters.
So you could do it in the same line of Fuller House and say, just, hey, here's the next generation of the family. Still bring back Carl Winslow, who I'm still trying to figure out is he or isn't he the cop from Die Hard? Because, that's... It's been up in the...
If you could link those two together, that's
the Die Hard movie came out, and then Family Matters shows up, and he's a cop in both, and he's wearing the same damn uniform.
Yeah.
So it's like
they would
it's
have to
different-
do that.
It's different names, right?
Just one episode.
One
have
episode,
to do
have
that.
Bruce Willis show up and be like, "Hey, it's my old friend."
or,
like,
or at least
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah.
or at least allude to it.
Yeah.
Bruce
allude to
Willis
it.
isn't probably going to show up on Family Still Matters, but they could at least allude to it. And then me saying that out loud too, right? So the other day, Jeremy and I were talking about this because we saw some pictures on Instagram where Entertainment Weekly did a Family Matters reunion. So they had a photo shoot with a bunch of pictures of them now. They all still look pretty good, right? Laura was there, Urkel, both
so
the
they actually got
parents.
Jaleel White to come out of his like
Jaleel White,
retirement.
yeah.
Leo White was there. They were all
'Cause
back.
That's the one problem with that. I think why Family Matters hasn't gone on is Jaleel White came out and said he never wants to play Urkel again.
So he posted on Instagram and said they haven't been approached by anyone for a reboot, but they'd be down.
They'd
Oh.
be game for it.
they would be game. Okay, so he's flipped his stance then.
Yeah.
Well, he needs that money probably,
Well,
but still.
either that or, like I said, he could basically play. Like I said, not even Urkel. Like I said, Stefan. Like I said, he could basically
say that Urkel became
So Stefan.
eventually.
So here I'm gonna picture right now. It's Stefan and Laura. They're together. They have a kid. Their kid is basically an Urkel type kid.
Their daughter.
Their daughter, yes, their daughter,
Urkel daughter,
is
yeah.
basically female Urkel.
Yep, and there you go. Right,
There you
it's
go.
female Urkel.
Boom.
Jaleel White can be the cool guy because
Yeah.
he's Stefan. He doesn't have to be a 40 or 50-year-old nerd. That would be awkward. So,
So if that movie comes out, you heard it here first, and we want our money.
well, hold on. So then Jeremy and I were talking, right? This needs to come back. Why are we shying away from the urban Fuller House? And then what would you call the reboot of Family Matters?
it would still be Family Still Matters,
Family
right?
Still Matters.
Family still
and
matters.
Here's the thing: is you say it's an urban thing. I
I
actually
think
thought
wait,
Family
wait.
Matters was better than Full House. To be honest with you,
I-
in my opinion,
I will
like this-
disagree.
Yeah, I know you guys disagree because you love.
Family Matters was good, but
See,
Fuller
I
House
like the
is-
storylines of Family Matters.
I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
I like them both for different reasons. I like the fact from Family Matters. I like some of the earlier stories. Like once Steve started to get his girlfriend and stuff like that. Like I said, it just kind of like tapered.
It went downhill, but those first couple seasons were awesome.
Yeah, it did the opposite. So it was the first couple seasons of Full House, like, okay, they're like this, and then in the later seasons they start to raise up, versus later seasons of Family Matters kind of start to go down.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
So, Scott, how we are going to profit off of this, or me specifically, I'll cut you in, is if it does get picked up as Family Still Matters, if you visit FamilyStillMatters.com right now, it'll take you to the STS guys.
So the SDS guys own Family Still
Still
Matters.
Matters.
If anyone listening is interested in purchasing Family Still Matters, it is available for a fraction of the price of FullerHouse.com. Because FullerHouse.com is currently available for $25,000.
Yeah. So
We're not going to put it at that price.
I would be happy with a tenth of that.
Yeah.
So contact Larry at STSguys.com.
If you want FamilyStillMatters.com,
Yep.
he is willing to sell for not that much.
That was our genius idea we had this week while you were partying.
It was
Disneyland.
it was an epiphany.
I
We were sitting
feel
there
like it
talking,
was.
and then Family Still Matters.
Then I went home. Busted out my mediocre Photoshop skills, and threw a picture up on Instagram. It didn't take off like I hoped it would, but if you're listening and you haven't double tapped, go to our Instagram and double tap my Family Still Matters picture, please.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. Like I said, I showed it to my wife. She thought it was real.
I showed it to my wife. She thought it was real
Yeah,
too.
and she got
I
really
saw the
excited.
picture, so that makes a lot more sense now, the background.
there was
to
a
it.
reason. We weren't
Yeah.
just randomly throwing up Family Matters pictures. There was a joke behind it.
Yeah, that was that. We're getting kind of close to the end here, so we just kind of typically like to wrap it up with a weekly recommendation from each of us. I'll kick it off with my recommendation. I want to recommend picking up Marvel. Actually, go and watch Kingsman. I saw Kingsman, The Golden Circle, on Friday. It was pretty good. It was kind of nice to see Julianne Moore in a movie again, and it's got kind of a lot of different plot twists in there that you think that she's the bad guy, but it actually ends up being, like I said, the spoiler alert, the president of the United States is kind of the bad guy, and it kind of weaves that in like so intricately. It's pretty cool.
My only kind of beef with that movie is they clearly got Channing Tatum but couldn't afford him, as much as they would like, and so they just kind of like suddenly he like disappeared, and they just like made up an excuse for him to get out of the movie.
Or like he had some other movie to make, so they had to
like
cut his
they're
scenes.
like, oh, we only have like 30 minutes of screen time
We have
for
30.
you.
We can afford 30 minutes of Channing Tatum.
Yeah, so like let's get all the scenes, and then he's like,
And we'll cryogenically freeze him.
yeah, he's like affected by the bad guy, so before like he dies or whatever, they're like cryogenically freeze him, and he doesn't show back up in the movie
Until the very end.
at the very end. And he comes back and he's like, I'm cured.
And then when he actually becomes a Kingsman at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation. Scott, what do you got?
So mine is going in the queue of Netflix. There is a show that Jeremy kind of a long time ago, hey, cued me into the thing, which is called Big Mouth.
It's such an awesome
It's
show.
such an awesome movie, and it is so goddamn raunchy. It's basically a retelling of what happens when kids start to go through puberty, but told through the like lens of an adult, like reminiscing back about when they were kids. So one of the kids, as he goes through puberty, actually has a physical manifestation of his horniness called the hormone monster.
The hormone monster.
That is literally always comes out, and he's always just like, the kid will be like just walking down the street, and he'll be like, go ahead and jack off to that. Like, it's so
Or
like
in one of the very first episodes, it's like, hey, see that cat clock on the wall? Isn't that turning you on?
right. And at one point, the guy's like, he's going through like his list of things, and he's like, well, I have this. Like, this isn't sexy. He's like, no, it looks like a dildo. And he's like, no, what about this? He's like, nope, boobs. And like he goes, like the only person is some old announcer from NPR. That's his only weakness. It's like, it's the most raunchy, like dirty cartoon that I've seen in a long time, and it is great.
Oh yeah,
go check it out. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like the first episode, because it
basketball
just
court full of playing dicks.
Yeah, like dicks just playing basketball, and like one of them trips. He's like, ow, my balls! Like it's a wonderful show.
Oh,
and
it's
yeah,
awesome.
just animated penises and vaginas everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
if you need to turn off your brain for a while,
Yeah,
like, it's the best show to watch.
Silly good fun, and it is dirty and raunchy and everything that is great. Larry, how about you?
So mine's the complete opposite. Rather than being raunchy, it's kind of tame, and they don't even swear. So the past week and a half, I caught up on The Good Place with Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. I knocked out season 1. It was on Netflix. And season 2 just started. They just had the 3rd episode this past week. The show is really great. It's really funny. Takes about halfway through before I feel like it really picked up steam. But I think episode 7 or 8, it just starts to be really hilarious. Jeremy, I think you watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
too,
no,
didn't you?
I actually took this. So Larry started talking about this earlier in the week, and I'm like, I need a different kind of a lighter show to watch, and something that me and my wife can watch together.
Yeah.
Because we typically have opposite tastes in things that we find funny. But it's one of those shows where, like I said, we've been watching it together, like I said, and it's pretty funny. Like I said, it's one of those situations where, like I said, it has humor in it, but it doesn't necessarily have to have like toilet humor and swearing and this, that, and the other. It's actually pretty funny. Like I said, it's I've laughed quite a few times at it.
So the premise is Kristen Bell's character dies, and she goes to the good place. Right, so she goes up to heaven, and Ted Danson is the leader of this neighborhood in heaven. And then she just meets some friends, and really, the interaction with the community and friends. It's kind of a like a buddy comedy, like a Friends in Heaven or Cheers in Heaven. It's pretty good. I like it. It's kind of the characters in those relationships that kind of drive it. Each episode's 20 minutes, so it's a really quick watch. So if you got nothing to do this weekend, maybe you knock that out real quick.
Well, and it's one of those shows too where, like I said, I love it and I hate it because it's got that slight cliffhanger at the end of each episode.
Every time, yeah.
At the end of every episode has that.
I have to keep watching.
Has that slight cliffhanger of what's going to happen next that you have to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
We just started it literally today, and me and my wife pounded through like 7 episodes.
Yeah, it has better cliffhangers than The Defenders or any Marvel Netflix show.
Oh yeah,
it really draws you in and wants you to
actually
keep
makes
going.
you want to keep going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a show that doesn't need that, right? Like it's just a funny comedy, but they drag you along real good.
And like I said, it relates. Like I said, it's not like separate episodes. Like I said, it's a whole story that weaves through. That the entire time.
Yep.
So
It's
really
really
good. We're drawing close to the end here. Just want to give a couple updates for next week. Next week, we actually have our super mega Halloween special.
Did you say super mega Halloween special?
I think he said super mega Halloween special.
I did say super mega Halloween special.
We do have a task, though.
We do have a task
all of our listeners.
For all of our listeners.
Because this is going to make a lot more sense for next week. But we're going to task you all to go watch a horrible, horrible, horrible Halloween movie.
Oh, it's the worst movie probably you've ever seen. It's an hour
great.
and 11 minutes.
It's not long,
Yeah.
and it is an hour and 11 minutes of awesomeness.
Yeah, it is. We've talked about it before. Thanksgiving.
Right. I did drop that a couple weeks ago for anybody who
So
knows.
I
And
watched it.
We did find out it is on Amazon. So if you
Yes.
do have Prime, you can watch it for free.
Yeah, if you have Prime
On Amazon.
Yeah, so if you have a Prime membership, go and watch it for free on Amazon. Like I
It
said,
can't be more than a couple bucks if you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Like,
or like I said, I think it's on Netflix too. I was reading. I said it's a couple different things out there.
they usually drop it around Halloween. It
Yeah.
comes up on one of those streaming services
you-
has it.
You shouldn't have to pay for it.
Guys, so I haven't watched it yet. So if you're listening and you've made it 59 minutes into our podcast, that means you'll probably be listening next week. So guys, go check it out with me, and it'll make next week's episode way more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there
I
is
think Jeremy has concocted some sort of game for us to play revolving around that.
There
movie.
is a game involved with it. We are also going to bust out some visuals for this as well.
Nice.
So the audience will. So for those of you who are on our YouTube, also thank you to everyone who subscribed to our YouTube channel. We hit our milestone of 100.
100. I think we were at 102 when I was
101.
looking. Oh, we
101.
lost one.
Damn it.
Womp womp.
But thank you guys. It's
Yes.
pretty cool. It's only been episode 8. We're only
Yes.
8 weeks into this. We're super happy to get to 100. Didn't we have a giveaway or something for 100
I think
subs?
we did.
Yes, we do have the giveaway. We are actually going to announce the winner on Monday, October 9th. So we'll expect that video to drop on YouTube soon. So we'll go ahead and announce the winner of that giveaway. We also have another giveaway on deck as well. So probably stay tuned for details later on this week for that giveaway.
Yeah. I think it's like Jeremy said, I think last week when I wasn't here, it's probably not going to be a pop. So look out for that. If you guys have any suggestions of things we could give away, like subscriber milestones or just some random stuff on Instagram or whatever, we plan on giving them more things. So let us know in the comments what you'd like to see.
Yeah, I think those giveaways are going to be a constant. So
Yeah.
I mean, we all have stuff on hand that we can.
We're
definitely
so
give out.
generous. We like to buy stuff
Yeah.
and we like to give back. We like
Right.
to communicate with people. We've been pumping out comments on Instagram and YouTube. Whenever somebody comments, we've been
Like I said,
looking for new channels for us to watch too.
We got our first round of stickers in. We gave some of those out. Like I
Yeah.
said, we want to continue to engage everyone in the community and basically say thank you for subscribing and tuning in, and then thank you for being a part of this community. That's it for this week's episode, guys. For this week's episode from the STS guys, I'm Jeremy,
I'm Scott.
I'm Larry.
and we're the STS guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Romantic, isn't it? Shut up and sit down.